CMAC Sports, this is high school football. Tonight, we come to you from McLean Stadium in central Fresno, where the Wildcats. Hello again, everybody. I'm Dan Taylor, and with me the coach, Fred Clark. And we've got a really interesting matchup tonight. A couple of teams that going head-to-head tonight could go a long way to decide the outcome of the North Yosemite League race this year.
No doubt, Dan. At the beginning of the season, I had Sunnyside winning the NYL. I had Roosevelt being number 2, but I thought it was going to be a big gap between the two teams. I think the gap's narrowed considerably. Unlike the last two times these teams have met, I think we're going to have a close competitive game tonight.
You talked a bit with Gordon Wood before this one, and you said he is pretty confident in his troops.
Well, Sunnyside has had a lot tougher schedule on the non-league than the Rough Riders have had, and they took their lumps the first couple of games. They got beat last week. They're coming in with a 2-3 record. Roosevelt, on the other hand, their schedule's a little bit lighter, and they're coming in with a 3-2 record, but they have a lot more confidence and enthusiasm that they've had the last couple of seasons.
You were looking at the Roosevelt High School Rough Rider marching band. They will be marching onto the field momentarily, and the two teams are in their respective tunnels in the corners of the west end zone, waiting their entrance and the band to come on and play the national anthem. Spirited crowd here in McLean Stadium tonight for night one of North Yosemite League football, and there you see the Roosevelt Rough Riders taking the field. We saw the Rough Riders earlier and probably a much more confident team against Mendota.
Mendota game with a 2-0 record, and they were riding high, and I really think they took Mendota too lightly. They were outplayed, they were outcoached.
Sunnyside High coming onto the field now, heading to their bench. As you see the Wildcats, and as Fred mentioned, they come in with a 2-3 record, and one of the things Gordon Wood likes to do is play a real strong non-conference schedule. He's looking to prepare his team for the postseason. So to begin, they came up short against Clovis North by a single point in their opener. Lost to the top team in the Central Valley Central High School in week 2, then reeled off back-to-back wins over Mount Whitney and Clovis East before a tough one last week at San Joaquin Memorial. Roosevelt, on the other hand, a 3-2 record. That after a 2-9 season last year in what was probably a little bit of a chaotic year for Atnoff Harris, who was in his first season as the head coach, came in quite late, but has really got things going this season.
Well, as you alluded to, Atnoff Harris took over the head coaching job a month before the first game, and I don't know any coach can do that and have any semblance of success, but he did get people to buy in and play hard together. This year they're really putting it together now.
All around the stadium, everybody's standing, removing their caps as the Roosevelt Rough Rider Band was about to perform our national anthem. and in the truck, and working with Caesar and Natalie and Manuel and company, always doing a terrific job both of teaching the young folks and also Bringing you the great pictures that we'll have tonight. Sunnyside and Roosevelt here. Week 6 of the North Yosemite League, the Central Valley High School season. Week 1 of North Yosemite League play, Fred.
And how often do we see week 1 of league play featuring the game that is probably going to decide the championship of this league?
Doesn't happen very often, and these two teams are primed for this meeting. As we mentioned, they have taken very different approaches. Sunnyside, as usual, likes to go very strong in the non-conference, and you can't go much tougher than what they've done. Two schools from Clovis Unified and Central Union High School, probably the top team in the Central San Joaquin Valley. And
it looked like the Wildcats might have a breakout game coming out of the gate. They led Clovis North 19-0 at halftime. They got a little bit overconfident, let that game slip away. Last week against San Joaquin Memorial, they found all kinds of unusual ways to turn the ball over in the red zone, costing them touchdowns. Lots of mistakes, they still put up 30 points.
And conversely, Roosevelt has played a little bit softer schedule, wanting to build confidence and really get their offense going, and they have thus far.
Well, some of the teams that Roosevelt has beaten this year annihilated the Rough Riders last year, so they're taking baby steps to get things turned around.
Jose Ortiz will get this one going. Indeed, ball's up in the air, and we are underway from McLean Stadium. Glad you're here with us for high school football. Esteban Carrillo taking that kick, brought down at the 20-yard line, and that is where the Roosevelt Rough Riders will get things going 1st and 10. They are led by Jordan De La Rosa, very talented young quarterback who is just shy of 1,000 yards passing. And if they're going to beat you, Roosevelt High is going to beat you through the air.
Yeah, Jordan De La Rosa, very talented quarterback. We've seen him in action earlier this season. He had his struggles against Mendota, against Chowchilla, against Dos Palace. He was lights out. The last couple of weeks, he's really growing in, showing some maturity.
Thrown for 9 touchdowns thus far on the season, been picked off 5 times. That total 927 yards through 5 games thus far for Jordan De La Rosa. Out of the pistol. A couple of wide receivers to the near side, one going in motion. That is Caneo. De La Rosa had time, but didn't have a man and throws it out of bounds. You know, that's a sign of maturity, Fred, when a young man like that will just dump it out of bounds rather than throw it into a bad situation.
Throw it into a crowd or try and make something happen, which he didn't do. De La Rosa had to roll to his right. This is one of the things, Dan, where Mendota was successful when they beat the Rough Riders in week 3. They forced De La Rosa to his left, and he wasn't near as effective.
That's right. Brought a lot of pressure from that side, and already it looks as though Sunnyside has seen those game films. Second down and 10 from the 20 for the Rough Riders. Wildcats showing blitz up the middle. De La Rosa's pass is complete, and he's got a 1st down. And more. Joshua Williams with a big gainer for the Rough Riders.
And Williams just stuck across the middle of the field. De La Rosa was able to hit him wide open and then cut across the drain for a big gain.
Ball spotted at the 48-yard line for a gain of 28 yards. 1st and 10 for the Rough Riders. Wildcats showing blitz, not blitzing. The give and a pickup of about 4 yards.
We had flags down on this side, Dan. I think the Rough Riders may have moved.
That was Maxwell on the carry.
Warning's the free one.
Oh, that was a sideline warning against the Wildcats. There's no penalty on that. That's just a adjustment violation.
But that can't ultimately become a penalty if it continues, correct?
Correct.
Brings up a 3rd and 5. Ball at the Sunnyside 49-yard line. Timeout taken by Roosevelt. So the two teams going to go and confer with their coaches, and thus far what we've seen is a Roosevelt team, much different look than last year. Otnoff Harris in his second season, surrounding himself with his own staff now, and has had a summer to work with his players, both in the weight room, 7-on-7, and having implemented the offense he likes and building the type of team that he likes.
Yeah, and we can't emphasize enough how important that is, to be able to choose your own staff. When you step into a situation and your assistants are already selected for you, that's just uncomfortable. You want to bring in guys that you've either played with, coached with, or have a lot of knowledge of. And Otnoff has done that. He's got a lot of guys that have been coached with him for a long time or played with him several years back.
Well, and he has pledged that he wants to be here for the long haul. They've been through a few coaches at Roosevelt, and he wants to change that. So looking at 3rd and 6 now for the Riders. Give to Maxwell. Stutter steps his way, picks up 3, but he's going to still be 3 yards shy of the first down.
Well, it's into Sunnyside territory. No, Dan, now we're at 3rd down. We had that violation, the sideline violation. I was like you. I thought, hold it, that was 3rd down. Well, now we're at 3rd down.
You can't see the scoreboard. You didn't get suckered into it.
Well, the yard marker said 3rd down too, so.
So now we're at 3rd and 2. Ball sitting on the Sunnyside 45. Oh, big gainer. First down and then some. The gain of about 26 yards. That was Howard Maxwell inside the Sunnyside 30-yard line.
And Maxwell's a weapon, Dan, that Roosevelt has got to keep feeding him the ball. They gave up the running game early on in their 2 losses, and way too early in my opinion. You have somebody like that, you've got to get the ball in their hands and keep the defense honest.
Well, Sunnyside keeps coming up on the ends, flashing what looks like a blitz, and that's probably the best way to try and defuse that.
Certainly is.
So 1st and 10 from the 29.
And Roosevelt's left guard pulled way too early on that. That's going to be costing the Rough Riders 5.
Number 66 on the offense. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
Our officials, Dan, we have Kevin Blevins as the referee. The umpire is Mark Weens. Head linesman is Jason Brooks. The line judge is Anthony Garcia. The back judge is Aaron Weens. All easy to pronounce last names. I love those.
It's going to be a good night, Fred. No score if you're just joining us. Thanks for tuning in to us for high school football. So it's 1st and 15 from the Sunnyside 34.
The Rough Riders.
Looks like it may be 1st and 10 from the 29.
Yep. The Rough Riders got that 5 yards back real easy.
We saw this last week in the game we brought to you last week. A lot of penalties on the opening drive, and from that point on, everybody's jitters went away. Everybody got into their game mode, and we didn't have many penalties the rest of the night. Coaches have to be hoping that's the case again.
As do we.
De La Rosa from the pistol. Gives to Maxwell. He's got a big hole. Trying to get a block. Sees daylight if he gets around it. Knocked out of bounds inside the 10-yard line to the 7.
Nice run by Maxwell. He was patient. He let a couple of his blocks develop. And it looks like De La Rosa's doing a real good job of reading Sunnyside's intentions. We'll see this again. Yeah, Joshua Williams is able to put a block in that sprung Maxwell for a few extra yards on that. 1st and goal.
Invaluable when you get those receivers making key blocks. Ball at the 9-yard line. Maxwell gets the call again. Brought down around the ankles by Keandre McDowell.
And last season, I think Sunnyside won 40-0, and the year before that I think it was 44-6. Roosevelt has not come close. They got down early. Both the games were played with a running clock in the second half. This will give Roosevelt a lot of confidence if they can put the ball in the end zone this drive.
They've been very impressive thus far. 8:35 remaining in the quarter. 2nd and 2 from the 2. Maxwell. He's in. Touchdown for Roosevelt High School.
And the Rough Riders are getting a lot of push off their offensive line. They just shoved Sunnyside back those last 2 plays.
So the Rough Riders strike first here at McLean Stadium. 3 very impressive runs on the drive by Howard Maxwell. A 30-yarder, a 20-yarder, and then he caps it off from 2 yards out. And Roosevelt strikes first.
Just a simple blast into the end zone.
Extra point attempt is blocked.
It looked like number 1, Damian Ross. He came in untouched. Maybe we can see that one again.
They had a little bit of trouble with the snap, and it looked as though the holder struggled to get it down quickly, and Damian Ross took full advantage. He just flew in from the far side with a block, and that makes our initial score 6-0 in favor of Roosevelt.
And timing is everything on those, Dan. As a former special teams coach, I really appreciate it when things go completely right all the time. 2 things went bad there, as you mentioned. Snap was a little high, the ball didn't get down in time, and somebody missed their block. One of those things will usually blow up a play. 2 of them almost for sure is going to blow up a play.
And that's exactly what we saw as Roosevelt sits on top by a 6-0 count here with 8:27 to play in the first quarter of action here at McLean Stadium. And both teams with their bands here in the stands, and we've got a lot of enthusiasm and spirit in the air here. North Yosemite League football, the opener for both these teams. The 2 teams expected to fight it out for the league title.
Dan, I think this is the first lead Roosevelt's had on Sunnyside in 4 years.
The last 6 seasons, Roosevelt, in their games with Sunnyside, the last 6 times they have met, Roosevelt has won just once. In 2014, a 24-19 win. Kick is brought out across the 20-yard line. And we've got a penalty flag flying on the far side. But these 2 teams, going back to 2009, Sunnyside has won 5 of the 6 meetings. They did not play in 2010 or 2011. And the last few have been pretty lopsided. 40-0 last year in favor of Sunnyside, 44-8 the year before, 51-36 in 2013.
After the play,
Sunnyside, I think
dead ball,
personal
foul, number 8 on Sunnyside. Also, we have a dead ball,
so that's
personal
cost
foul,
him 10 yards. Oh, nope, it's not.
Those penalties will offset.
That's going to be offsetting penalties. I saw the flag go up right after there was contact from a Sunnyside player.
Donovan Kong, the quarterback for Sunnyside, and he has improved leaps and bounds over the year. Very balanced attack. Give coming to the near side. And he is run out of bounds just shy of the 50-yard line. Pickup of almost 27 yards.
And we can't show you the number there because we do not have a number 9 for the Sunnyside Wildcats. Dan's going to try and run that one down now. A gain of almost 20 yards.
That's Breon Heights, who the roster has wearing number 14. So Breon Heights is wearing number 9 tonight. Pass incomplete, intended for Marquez Williams.
Jesus Romero of the Rough Riders got his hand in, looked for a second like he may be able to come up with a pick. Just incomplete.
2nd down 10. Kong keeping, shirks 1 tackle. Carries two more across midfield.
Kong did quite the job on that. Instead of a 3-yard loss, he got a 5-yard gain on that.
Third down and 5 from the Roosevelt 49-yard line. Kong with the keeper, up the middle, spins. And it looks as though, Fred, he may have gotten enough for the first down.
And he was stopped short of the first down, it looked like 2 occasions, but Donovan Kong, accurate passer, very good runner, and as soon as there was contact, he just kept slipping around, slipping, twisting, and breaking tackles.
Big run there for Donovan Kong. Kong to Moorhead. DeAndre Moorhead, the big tight end.
And that's a gain of about 6 yards, and you know, Moorhead just kept struggling. So far, Roosevelt's having a little bit of trouble bringing people down. They're tackling a little bit high. Whatever happened to the tackles below the waist, Dan?
Especially those ankle and calf area tackles. They're the most effective, aren't they?
Certainly are.
Just wrap the guys up.
Wrap and roll.
Second down 5 from the Roosevelt 37. This is Hawkins. More than enough for a Sunnyside first down.
And Carl Hawkins, only a sophomore, following in his brother's footsteps. He's at Fresno City College now. They're expecting big things from Hawkins in the next few years. He's a weapon now.
Hawkins stays in the game. 3 receivers to the near side. Donovan Kong brings it out to Heights. Maybe a loss of 1.
Romero's in on the tackle again. He's stiffed that play out for a loss of a yard.
Timing is oh so critical on those out patterns. Hawkins tries to find a seam.
Flag on the play. Usually would indicate holding. Nope, illegal shift.
You never got set, 9. You never got set.
Well, my holding prognosis was out. I did not see the illegal shift at the beginning.
That'll bring it back 5 yards. Ball placed at the 33-yard line. And it's second down and about 16 for the Wildcats. Kong takes a drop, throws deep. He's got a man. Ooh, ball just in and out of the receiver's arms. That was Marquez Williams trying to make the diving grab of the end zone.
And Williams had a height advantage. He had his man beat. He just couldn't bring it down.
Terrific call, terrific throw.
I just couldn't hold on to it, Dan.
Big third down play here. Sunnyside tries to keep this drive alive.
And he is.
And he will score. We've got a penalty flag down, I believe, at the 15-yard line. Two of them, in fact.
The Wildcats are moving back.
Be third down again. Number 3 on the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty to spot the foul. Remains third down.
Yeah, that will be a comeback. It's against the Wildcats. Okay, guess the foul must have been inside the 10, Dan, because it was from the spot of the foul, so now it brings up a third and about 3 yards to go.
Official takes a timeout, and it is in fact a Roosevelt timeout as they want to go over and confer with their coaching staff on the far sideline. Big play for both as the Sunnyside trying to keep this drive going as they're playing an early game of catch-up. Roosevelt striking first, sitting on top 6-0. Roosevelt trying to see if they can stop this drive.
The second Roosevelt timeout at the half, Dan. That could be costly coming down toward halftime. You don't want to leave them on the scoreboard, but they use their first timeout a minute into the game.
And will that, Fred, tend to be a case of trying to get guys in the right position?
I think so, yeah. When you have your play callers looking at the sidelines with confusion, the coach has got to do something real quick.
Teams back up to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 3 from the 20. Ball is muffed. Kong is trying to lean forward far enough for the first down.
You know,
but we're going to have to wait for the spot.
Even with that, Kong was able to get close to first down yardage. He's going to be marked about a yard short, but that play looked like it's a disaster.
Now they're coming right up under center to try to get it off again on 4th and 1. Kong, quarterback sneak, getting some help from the backs behind him, pushing him straight forward. Looks as though he's got enough yardage for the first down, and Sunnyside continues the drive.
Yeah, Sunnyside with their hurry-up offense, it doesn't really give the other team a chance to adjust too much. They have to be aware of this, and that's what film study's all about.
So 1st and 10, the deep back is Hawkins. Kong up under center, and the ball is fumbled, and Roosevelt looks as though they've recovered.
They certainly have.
Very costly mistake. And Roosevelt with a big, big turnover recovers it at the 24-yard line.
Well, we have to see that again. I don't know quite what went wrong on that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, McDowell or King, he just dropped the ball.
Big turnover for Roosevelt as they now send the offense onto the field, trying to see if they can add to their 6-0 first quarter lead. 4:38 to play here from McLean Stadium.
I thought that play was going to go in a misdirection, and, well, I read that one wrong. Here's Maxwell again.
Maxwell trying to get around the end, and we've got a penalty flag as Maxwell is flung out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A big, big gain, but I've got to think it's all coming back.
Yeah, it tend to be where a hold usually is. I'm 0 for 1 on that so far tonight. I'm going to keep calling that one, though, till I get it right. Oh, that's going to be a face mask on the Wildcats. So that ball went all the way to the 45-yard line. We're going to have add 15 onto that.
Well, a big gain by Howard Maxwell III, and then a face mask penalty puts it at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Rough Riders.
Looks like that was an incidental face mask.
De La Rosa gives to Maxwell again, cuts back, and looks as though he's picked up almost 5 yards.
Yeah, Maxwell is running with abandoned knife.
You keep it on the ground, or you try to go through the air here?
Depends what the defense is going to give me. I know a lot will say, hey, you got the ground game going, stick with it, but it's all about it. If quarterback sees something, somebody's cheating up a little too far, you've got an open man, you got to try and go for it.
But when the ground game is going the way it is, that makes the clock your 12th man.
And I love that.
Indeed.
Love that grind out game.
Yes. De La Rosa fakes to Maxwell, rolls to the near side, completes his pass down to the 27-yard line. Deokeo, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Apologies if I am not. But that takes the ball down to the 28-yard line. 28-yard line, 1st and 10.
We're going to see this again. As KO again gets hit hard to the ground, but first down yardage.
Joshua Williams actually the receiver. My mistake. Apologies. 1st and 10 from the 28. Give goes to Maxwell right up the middle. Picks up 7 more.
And Dan, as we saw in that last pass, Roosevelt had 2 guys open. De La Rosa picked his man underneath. But that running game, once you can get that established, it opens up all kinds of avenues for your offense.
Brings up a 2nd and 5 from the 23-yard line for the Rough Riders. Hard to believe this is a team that won 2 games last year.
Certainly is.
Give again to Maxwell right up the middle. And or just barely inside the 20-yard line.
We're going to have a personal foul here for some unsportsmanlike conduct. Looks like it's going to be going against the Wildcats, judging from the body language.
So we're going to go half the distance here.
Jr., the player
half the distance will be a first down.
Sunnyside.
Dead ball.
Somebody must have said something that wasn't very nice.
Usually how it works.
What was going to be just short of the first down is going to be a first down now. Inside the 10-yard line, or right at the 10.
So the ball marked at the 10-yard line sets up a 1st and goal for the Rough Riders. Looking to add to their 6-0 lead here. 2:24 to play in the first quarter from McLean Stadium. De La Rosa puts a man in motion. Give goes again to Maxwell. Up the middle. Hit hard. Stopped at the 16-yard line.
Yeah, it looked right at the moment at the point of contact. I thought he was blowing into the end zone. Yeah, I thought he was a couple of yards further east than he ended up being.
Maxwell's going to limp off. It's like Isaiah Chambers has come on for him in the backfield. De La Rosa fakes the handoff, throws out on the flat. He's got a man. He is spotted at the 1-yard line. Jesus Romero taking that pass and stopped just short of the goal line.
Yeah, Romero is about as close to getting in. Let's see this again. It was real close whether his knee was down before the ball was on the white line or not.
3rd down and goal from the 1. Chambers of the backfield alongside De La Rosa. Give goes to Chambers. He dances. He stops shy.
Yeah, Chambers danced a little bit to the left where he probably should have blasted straight ahead.
Yes, one juke too many. So it's 4th and goal from the 1. They're not even thinking about kicking this ball. They want 6. And it looks as though Adolf Harris has taken his third timeout of the first quarter of play. 18 seconds left here in the quarter.
And, you know, Dan, I think the clock may have ran out before they got a playoff there anyway. And Coach Harris probably wasn't too sure about it, but in this situation, although it leaves you with no timeouts, this is key right now. If you get in to the end zone right now, giving you a 2-touchdown lead, you don't want to let that opportunity go past you.
Across the way, Roosevelt coaches talking to their players. And there you see the shot from our CMAC camera crew. The Sunnyside coaching staff talking to the Wildcat defense. And the bands bring all the pageantry and excitement here to McLean Stadium. You're looking at the Roosevelt High Rough Rider Marching Band, one of the best in the central San Joaquin Valley.
And Dan, this is the biggest Rough Rider crowd I've seen in a couple of years.
Oh, there's a lot of enthusiasm. They've got it going again, coming in with a 3-win, 2-loss record, and a game that, if they win this, it could make them favorites in the North Yosemite League title race. So 4th and goal from the 1. 18 seconds remaining here in the first quarter of play.
And
Rough Riders trying to add to their lead.
Maxwell's in the backfield again with his ankle heavily taped.
He's got it. He dives into the end zone for the touchdown.
Nice dive by Maxwell. It looked like that hole is getting clogged, and he took to the air.
You think that play's labeled Superman in the playbook?
That could be. We're going to see it again.
You can go through, you can go around, or you can just simply go over. And that's what Howard Maxwell III did. 12-0 our score. Riders now trying to tack one more on the board. Snap is muffed, thrown away, and the PAT attempt fails.
Not only was it a bad snap, but Ross came in again untouched. A perfect snap. They still may have blocked that. On that touchdown, Dan, let's see what we're going to see the touchdown again on replay. See how low Sunnyside just submarined in, and Maxwell doesn't make the dive. He's probably stopped on that.
A terrific play and interesting.
Right here.
And with 15 seconds remaining here in the first quarter from McLean Stadium, Roosevelt sits on top of Sunnyside by a 12-0 count.
And I would have to tell you with a great deal of sincerity, I'm surprised by this beginning. And Sunnyside has got to, settle it down a little bit. They're playing with a little bit too much enthusiasm right now, and they got to keep their heads on straight.
Well, we should point out that this is not a traditional rivalry, but this is very much a geographic rivalry. These two schools are just a little under 3 miles apart in southeast Fresno. So a lot of these players know one another. Oh, with a big return. Breaks free, loses the football.
Looks like the Rough Riders may have recovered.
Heights had a big return going and a lot more in front of him, and the football was stripped loose.
And it is.
It is indeed Roosevelt's football.
Now, hopefully we can see this one again, Dan. It looked like he may have been ready to break that. Here we go.
He had a huge hole and looked as though he had just freed himself from a potential tackler when the ball was it just slipped. It just fell out of his hands.
Yeah. Nobody was within 2 yards of him.
So Roosevelt takes over at the Sunnyside 41-yard line.
I think I can safely say that barring a penalty, this will be the last play of the first quarter.
Big break for the Rough Riders. Can they capitalize? Maxwell to the near side, trying to get around the corner. He picks up 9 yards, very close to a first down.
And that is going to be the last play of the first quarter.
So our first quarter comes to an end here at McLean Stadium with a surprising score. Roosevelt 12 and Sunnyside yet to get on the board. And further surprising about Roosevelt's ability to jump on a 2-touchdown lead early is that it's come completely on the ground. This is a team that has made its mark through the air. Their scoring has predominantly come through the air. They've been a big play team through the air. And tonight, it's all coming on the ground.
Well, that's some good coaching adjustment.
Well, certainly on the first drive, you saw Sunnyside creeping up, showing blitz, attempting blitz on a couple of the plays, and well, Howard Maxwell just flying right up the middle. That took that away.
Something that surprises me, Dan, is when I saw the Rough Riders in action during their spring training, a little bit during their summer, and their lines did not impress me at all. And they've had some skilled players, but the way that their line has come along since the season got going is a real pleasant surprise. Big surprise for me, pleasant surprise for their staff and their fans.
So we begin the second quarter of play. Roosevelt with possession from the 31-yard line of Sunnyside, leading 12-0. De La Rosa with the give.
I think that was Chambers, wasn't it?
Yes, Isaiah Chambers takes the handoff, going up the middle, picks up about 3 yards.
Now, if Maxwell has got any long-term injury here just in this game, that could change things around a little bit too. Now, Chambers has some explosive speed, but he doesn't have the power going between the tackles that Maxwell does.
Chambers again picks up another 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards on the play before being brought down.
No gain on the play. Number 21 on the carry, Isaiah Chambers.
Chambers staying in the backfield. 11 minutes remaining to be played here in the second quarter. 12-0 Roosevelt from McLean Stadium. Night 1 of North Yosemite League play. And week 6 of the regular high school football season here in the Central Valley.
And Sunnyside still seems a little confused on defense right now.
Ross up on the top of your screen. 2 receivers to the near side. Goes to Ross, trying to cut back. And he is stopped probably at about the line of scrimmage.
And good anticipation by the Wildcat defense on that. Now, something the Rough Riders did tipped off Sunnyside, because Sunnyside's defense looked a little confused when that play got underway, but they seemed to know exactly what happened. Both sides, you're going to have an out pass for both sides. It seemed like it was going to be covered.
So on 4th and 9 here from the 30-yard line, question is, will we see Roosevelt go for it? Jordan De La Rosa doubles as their punter, and we've seen him do a little Aussie rules style punting in the past, where he rolls out and puts his foot to the ball. De La Rosa drops back, he's looking to throw, and the officials blow it dead.
The penalty remains 4th down.
Well, the procedure call will push it back 5 more yards and make it a 4th and 14 from the 35-yard line.
Okay, I'm for all my opinion is worth, and I know what could be coming from you on that one. I'm definitely going to punt the ball down there if I'm coaching it. And again, De La Rosa is going to be in a situation where he can do about anything he wants. He's going to punt the ball away. Not much of a punt.
Cameron Irvin takes it and looked as though he had some room to run, but the Riders recovered on that quickly and were on top of him and stopped him from getting much yardage. He is stopped just across the 35-yard line.
to put it mildly, when I suggested that they punt, I wasn't going to suggest that they punted at 4-yard net. And I thought they had a good opportunity to put Sunnyside deep in their own territory. That didn't happen. Now they got the ball at good field position, their own 36-yard line.
Donovan Kong, the quarterback. 3 receivers at the top of your screen. Sets one in motion. Gives it to him. That's Heights, I believe. No, correction. It was Johnny Dela Cruz.
Who was that? Okay, Johnny Dela Cruz is. Some of our numbers aren't too good here.
We're figuring it out as we go. Give up the middle to Hawkins, and he is actually spun and tripped up shy of the line of scrimmage.
Looked like he was able to tip Hawkins' left ankle just a bit to slow him down. You don't see Hawkins getting caught for losses too often. Get to see that again. Yeah. Hawkins got caught right by the ankle. He slipped a little bit as he made his initial cut.
Kong going to the air, complete. Dancing at the midfield, working his way toward the 46-yard line before being ridden out of bounds is Brian Heights. So Brianna Heights with a nice grab and run gets it to the 46-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like Heights was the secondary receiver on that. See this again.
Heights would rough it at the top of your screen. Give going to Sherwin King Jr., and he is across the 45. Picks up about 3 yards.
On the rush, number 50, Marcelino Vandara.
Yeah, that was a big first down a moment ago for the Wildcats. They needed something to get some momentum going.
Second down and 8.
Pass is thrown away.
That was a good move by Kong. He was outside of the pocket. He was about to get sacked, just chucked it away.
Now we see a very late flag come out.
Okay, they're going to call grounding on that.
Offense.
What do you think, Dan? What's your opinion on that one?
That's college.
Outside the tackle box, trying to get rid of it, but was he in the grasp when he did it?
Well, maybe we'll get a chance to see that. He was in the grasp, and there was no receiver close.
No, not at all.
But
On the offense, 5 yards from the spot of the foul, loss of down, third down.
wow. That's going to be third down and almost 20 yards to go.
Very costly penalty, and we have seen some extremely costly penalties tonight for Sunnyside. 2 of them that led to the second Roosevelt touchdown, and now this really puts them in some difficult field position. 3rd and 24 from the 40. Donovan Kong unloads it, bounced it in front of the running back, and that's going to bring up a punting situation for the Wildcats.
Yeah, this started out with some promise. They had good field position to begin with. Got a first down on a 3rd and long, and then dissolved.
Well, they caught a big break with Roosevelt unable to sustain that drive after the fumble recovery on the kickoff return.
Not taking advantage of opportunity.
Carl Hawkins back to punt, usually does it Aussie rules style on the run. Not this time, though. Ball's going to roll inside the 10 and roll dead at the 8-yard line.
Very good punt and roll. Didn't look like Roosevelt was expecting him to punt, Dan.
No, didn't at all. Little surprising there. 12-0 Roosevelt our score. 7:05 to play until the half here at McLean Stadium.
This is the worst field position of the night for the Rough Riders to begin with. They started the game at their own 20-yard line, took it 80 yards down for a score. And Sunnyside's coughed the ball up a couple of times. The Rough Riders so far not. Sunnyside needs to make a couple of breaks for themselves and stop shooting themselves in the foot.
Adolph Harris across the way talking to his team, and now the Roosevelt offense comes out onto the field, encouraged to do so at least by the officials who are tooting the whistles, trying to get him out. And the head linesman has now told the clock operator to start the clock on the Riders as they come sprinting out onto the field. They're going to have to get this one off very quickly.
Yeah, they
First and 10 from the 8-yard line. Not a place you want to get a penalty.
Now they were in danger of a delay of game. They're going to have to get the ball snapped quickly here.
Hawkins near side. Correction. That was Howard Maxwell, I should say, coming to the near side.
Got about 4 yards there before being pushed out of bounds to 12.
A little bit of chatter going on between these players out there on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Second down and 6 from the 12-yard line. Jordan De La Rosa brings the Riders up to the line of scrimmage, leading 12-0 here at McLean Stadium. Glad you're with us on CMAC Sports. Give goes to Maxwell straight up the middle, picking his way to about the 19-yard line.
Bring up third and about, let's call that a long 4 yards to go.
Exactly. Looks like a long 4.
The Rough Riders being very deliberate.
Take a lot of time. The quarterback, after each play, runs across to the sideline to get a play call from his coach.
I'd be gassed after 3 plays of that.
De La Rosa fakes the handoff, throws out to the far side, and it lands incomplete.
I don't know if he faked the handoff or he missed the handoff. Maybe we'll see that one again.
It did look as though he was a little surprised that he still had that ball when he turned to his left.
Yeah, maybe you'll see that one again in a sec.
4th and 4 from the 14-yard line for the Riders.
Here we go. Yep. Yeah, that looked like it. Just a miscommunication.
Chambers coming into the backfield now. And they're going for it. 4th and 4 from the 14-yard line. Nope.
Kick is
It's
blocked.
blocked into the end zone. Touchdown, Sunnyside.
That ball was blocked right into Sherwin King's hands for a score.
And that has to be kind of the play that excites a former special teams coach.
Yes, it does. In both ways. I'll tell you in a moment.
Sherwin King with the block as the muck snap leads to a Sunnyside touchdown.
Now that was an athletic play. Went up in the air. Wow, that was nice. Went up in the air, not just blocked it, kept hold of it, jogged into the end zone. Easy touchdown for the Wildcats.
Very impressive special teams play. And how many times do you hear coaches say if the offense is sputtering, the defense not coming up with a big play, you got to have something good happen from the special teams. Ortiz with the PAT that is up and good. And now it's a 12-7 game.
Okay, Danny, you ready for some commentary on that last play?
Go.
Okay. King made a great athletic play for a touchdown, but Roosevelt's abysmal, and I say abysmal, special team play cost that. De La Rosa has been their kicker, but in that case, Sunnyside had no one back. They were going to bring a little bit of heat. De La Rosa wasn't even 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You're inviting a disaster. We saw this with Hoover last week. If your punter is 10 or 12 yards back, you're begging to get your kicks blocked. Begging. You have to have your punter back 15 yards. Your kicker needs to be back 7 yards. You don't do that, and what the result's going to be, you're going to give up big plays like they gave up right now. Okay, end of editorial.
No, tough one there for the Riders. Indeed, he was didn't have enough space between himself and the line and set himself up for that. Kickoff sailing high over the head of the return man into the end zone. And it will come out 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Roosevelt Rough Riders. Roosevelt on top here, 12-7. Sunnyside has just managed to get on the scoreboard after the tremendous blocked punt by Sherwin King Jr., who recovers it in the end zone. And we'll take one more look at that blocked punt.
And Sherwin King, as long as he lives, will never forget that play that he made, because he went high into the air for that.
That's a highlight maker, no question about it. Sherwin King with a leaping block punt manages to grab it and take it on into the end zone, 14 yards for the touchdown, and we're looking at a 12-7 game. Jordan De La Rosa trying to hurry the troops up, get them up to the line of scrimmage, and get this play off here. 5:24 to play until the half. De La Rosa with a give it to Maxwell to the far side. Cuts up off tackle. Trying to break a tackle, and he picks up about 5 yards.
And Roosevelt's got to be careful now. They don't want to make another mistake like this. They're in a position they've pretty much controlled the first half of this game, and they've got to get a little bit of momentum back. They do not want to go into halftime behind after getting that early lead.
Tremendous momentum through the first 2/3 of the first quarter. And things have changed here in the second quarter as Maxwell cut back off the tackle effectively for about a 5-yard gain. 2nd and 5 from the 25-yard line for the Riders. Chambers now in the backfield. He gets the handoff. Picks up a couple up the middle.
It's like about 1.5 yards or 2 yards short.
Very different running styles.
Very.
Maxwell and Chambers.
About a long yard to go here. Key play for the Rough Riders.
2 receivers to the near side. Give up the middle, and it looks like it's going to be well short of a first down.
Oh yeah, he lost a yard on that too. And Sunnyside, the defensive line did a great job. They got down in submarine level again, and anything was going to have to go to the outside. That was designed to go between the tackles. Yeah, he lost a good 2 yards on that one, Dan.
Damian Ross coming in. And coming to the near side.
And this is going to be another punt, and he's not 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The line's going to have to do a better job of blocking.
Gets it away. Nice pickup and run by Damian Ross with that, or was that Rayon Heights who actually brought it to the near side before being tripped up? And the ball will be spotted at the 35-yard line, where Sunnyside will begin.
Okay, we're going to see this one again. If he doesn't get tapped on the ankles here, it looks like he may go somewhere. Just got him on the ankles enough.
Well, Damian Ross doing a nice job of going for the ankles. We talked about that before, Fred.
He's listening to us.
Kong with the give up the middle. Big yardage. Driven out of bounds at the 47-yard line, and we've got a penalty flag thrown back at the 42. A little extracurricular activity taking place inside the Sunnyside High bench area.
Bonpasovic, the outside linebacker for the Rough Riders.
We're going back 3 from here.
Looks
but
like he
we'll still be
rode him right
dead
to
ball,
the
so
edge
we'll
of
still
the out-of-bounds line, and somebody on Sunnyside took offense to that. Again, another costly penalty by the Wildcats. They had a nice gain on that.
the offense. Result
Now
of the
they're
play
going
was a first
backwards.
down, 15-yard penalty. Be 1st and 10.
So the officials will march it back to the 31-yard line.
Placed at the 31-yard line.
Another very big, very costly, potentially costly penalty to the Wildcats, but negates a terrific pickup there.
They go from second and inches to, you're back to 1st and 10 again.
1st and 10.
Kong looks for a receiver, tries to shirk the pass rush. Out of bounds at the 37, picked up about 6 yards on the scamper.
It's a good job by Kong escaping damage and making that positive. We do have a flag on the field that's been waved off.
Good pass rush, though, by the Riders on that play to flush him out of the pocket, force him on the run.
Yeah, I thought it was going down for a moment. And Kong showed his athleticism after he got flushed out of the pocket, making something good happen.
2nd down and 5 for the Wildcats. Donovan Kong with the give. Oh, big hit at the 38. Well, that play is stopped before it can get moving.
And that looked like it had some promise right off the bat, and the hole filled quickly, and he got hit.
Hawkins now in the backfield for the Wildcats on 3rd and 4. Officials are blowing this one to a stop. Officials trying to get on the same page there before we get this next play going.
Yeah, we were not on the same page either on that.
About 1:45 to go. Kong. He's got a man deep. Complete at the 35. And off to the races goes Mark A. Williams. 4 defenders around him, and he's trying to break free. And he is brought down to the 20-yard line. Donovan Kong threw up a prayer, and it was answered.
And Howard looked like he was going up for the interception. We're going to see this one again. Nope. This is going to have to be a quick replay.
Visuals blow it dead before the play can get going.
Yeah, it looked like if he would have kept going, Danny probably could have got inside the 10-yard line on that.
They'll had a motion penalty there. That'll march 5 more yards off. So we're looking at 1st and 15 from the 25 now for Sunnyside. Oh, big gainer, and he's got daylight, brought down at the 9-yard line.
That's going to be real close to 1st down yardage. That was
brings up a 1st and goal inside the 10-yard line for Sunnyside High. Wildcats trailing 12-7, a minute to play here in the 1st half. Donovan Kong barking the signals, tucks it up. He's on the run to the 5, brought down to the 3-yard line. Clock continues to run to the 47 seconds to play. And Sunnyside calls a timeout.
see this again, see Kong take it. Rough Riders did a decent job not letting them get into the end zone. It looked like Kong had was smelling end zone all the way. They were able to slow him down, and right now Sunnyside's offensive line, who was getting worked earlier in the game, is now pushing the Rough Riders back. Have a few corrections to make here. All right. With 45 seconds left in the half, Dan, Sunnyside's in a good position to get the lead right now, and they've got the ball to start the second half.
2nd and 3 from the 3-yard line as the Roosevelt defense hurries out onto the field. 45 seconds remaining in the half. Sunnyside trailing 12-7 tonight in our North Yosemite League opener, battling their geographic rivals from Roosevelt. Donovan Kong up under center. Quarterback keeper up the middle. Does he get the push he needs? We don't see a signal.
Not quite, but he's close.
Sunnyside's players trying to get a timeout. Timeout called with 30 seconds left in the half.
And that was their second timeout, I believe.
Yes.
Plenty of time. The ball inside the 1-yard line, just a sneeze short of the goal line. He got a little bit better spot than I had thought from this angle.
I would imagine we would probably see the same play call one more time, maybe with a fullback giving him a little push. Here's the answered prayer as the defender came swooping through but missed it. And Williams zigzagging his way to the 20-yard line after hauling that long one in.
That was such a key play, 3rd and long again.
So do you keep it, or do you hand it off, or do you bootleg?
Well, they had a full house backfield on 2nd down. I see Hawkins there. I would give it to him on a head of steam and let him go airborne.
Well, you saw the blockers looking back at him, and you wonder. And they are trying to get the push for Kong, and they do. Touchdown, Donovan Kong. Donovan Kong over from the 1. And Sunnyside now sits on top 13-12 as we prepare for the extra point.
Well, I think we're going to see Sunnyside go with their swinging gate extra point attempt now, and don't have a real problem with that. You already have a 1-point lead. I know a lot of coaches subscribe, go for 1 now and wait. I like going for the 3-point lead right now.
There's a real gambler in you, isn't there?
Yeah,
Jose Ortiz sets up to take the extra point.
Well, Dan, it's easy for me to gamble on something like that because I don't have anything to lose.
Sunnyside taking a lead here, 14-12, with 26 seconds remaining in the first half of play from McLean Stadium.
Well, this is a much better Roosevelt Sunnyside game than the ones that we've had the last few years.
Indeed, but boy, what a change. First quarter was all Roosevelt, second quarter thus far, pretty much all Sunnyside.
Well, the Rough Riders had a chance to really inflict some damage when they recovered that fumbled kickoff, driven it down to Roosevelt's Sunnyside's 35-yard line. Didn't come up with anything, and then it's been Wildcats ever since.
Well, Ortiz to put it in the air to resume play. 26 seconds left of the half. Sunnyside has come back from 12 points down to sit on top 14-12, and Ortiz boots it into the end zone. Touchback, it'll come out to the 20-yard line.
Well, right now the Rough Riders have 26 seconds left to go. They don't have any timeouts left. They have to be real careful. Don't gamble like we just talked about on that extra point. Don't gamble on it. Let's say take a knee, go to the dressing room, and try and regroup a little bit.
So Jordan De La Rosa brings his teammates out. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. 26 seconds to play here at McLean Stadium, where Sunnyside, with that miraculous pass and catch, got into position, but Jordan De La Rosa is just going to take a knee and let the clock run out here to wrap up our first half of play from McLean Stadium, where Sunnyside has come roaring back from 2 scores down. And on that quarterback keeper up the middle from the 1, managed to take the lead as Sunnyside sits on top here at the end of our first half of play by a 14-12 score over Roosevelt.
Well, Dan, I'm clearly surprised right now. 14-12, that Sunnyside's leading at this point doesn't surprise me at all, but the way that they got the lead, it is a little bit of a surprise. Roosevelt's come out down by 2, and when these two teams have played the last 2 years, by halftime, Sunnyside's already had a 4 or 5 touchdown lead. So Roosevelt's got to be encouraged that they can play with them, but one of the things I saw that might be a little bit alarming is their defensive line really seemed to wear down there towards the end of the second half. I think the hurry-up offense that Sunnyside likes to employ has taken their toll on the Rough Riders a little bit.
Well, it was an interesting start to this one because Roosevelt, which has done the bulk of their scoring and the bulk of their success through the air, got it going on the ground, and Howard Maxwell III really made some things happen. Some big yardage runs to get their first score on the board. They missed the extra point, and then they came back on their next possession, and once again, leading with the run over the pass, got into the end zone for a 12-0 lead, and that was somewhat surprising.
And Sunnyside was obviously surprised by this also because they were expecting, you could tell the first defensive series, they were really expecting to see Air De La Rosa out of Roosevelt, and Maxwell is a very competent running back, and they have to get the ball to him a little bit more, but he got nicked there a little bit towards the middle of the second quarter, and he wasn't quite the same, and Sunnyside's been able to tee off a little bit more, and Roosevelt has been neutered on offense a little bit more the last 8 minutes of the half.
Let's take a look at some of the big plays from the first half thus far, and as we mentioned, when you're talking big plays to start, well, the big plays were made early by Roosevelt. There's Jordan De La Rosa as he initially was under a lot of pressure. You could see the blitz packages that Sunnyside had put in, so they went to this young man, Howard Maxwell III, and he churned up a couple of big 20-plus yard runs and ultimately got Roosevelt High School into the end zone. Very impressive running here, got them down into the red zone. And then Maxwell punches it in for the first score. Maxwell, very impressive running, but what's really impressive is the offensive line play of Roosevelt that sprang him for those big gains.
And that's been a real surprise, Dan, because the line was not Roosevelt's strong suit in the offseason. We alluded to that before, and they've really been doing a lot of work on that. But right now, you have a few guys going both ways. They're in danger of being worn down a little bit, and this is where they're going to have to reach down deep to stay in the football game.
Indeed. Our score at halftime, Sunnyside High has come back from 12 points down, and they're sitting on top 14-12. So the band's going to play. Fans are going to go out for hot dogs and sodas, and we're going to tell you a lot more about things going on at Roosevelt and Sunnyside and at CMAC. We'll be back with much more and the start of our second half after all this.
Where is the way anyway, and how long is it going to be there? 150 million cell phones are thrown away every year, and that's enough to stretch from the North to the South Pole. Plastic bottles can take up to 200 years to break down, and garbage dumps, they're designed to keep our trash here forever. You can participate in the Green Apple Zero Waste video competition to educate your classmates and everyone around you about your solutions to reduce, reuse, and recycle. You can create a PSA video of up to 3 minutes to share your ideas about zero waste and solutions to trash overfilling our planet. Our panel of experts will select a winning video from each age range category for fabulous prizes. Entries due by October 19th, so don't wait to show the difference that you're making around your campus, community, and country. Check out more info at www.usgbccc.org/greenapple.
This is how you say, "It's going to be okay," to someone who just lost everything. That yes, we'll find you somewhere to stay. And yes, your children will have breakfast. Every 8 minutes, the Red Cross responds to a disaster and makes this promise. Help us keep it.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our determination, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
CMAC empowers the members of the community to tell their story by offering them the opportunity to learn how to use video equipment, how to use the facilities we have to offer. CMAC is an organization that is devoted to allowing people to tell their stories. 99% of those organizations and individuals that have stories to tell have never been able to do it because they couldn't afford to. Now they can. CMAC empowers members of the community by offering them the opportunity to learn how to use all the wonderful equipment that we have available for them. And then once they've learned, using that equipment to create their own content.
The great thing about once someone has filmed and edited their video is that it is aired via Comcast and other channels, and this gives Arte Americas the opportunity to connect with outlying communities, people who may not have a chance to discover us any other way.
To see something that you've actually produced on a channel is fun for the first time, especially if you spent a lot of time with it. And it does take time to learn the programs.
Because you hear it all the time as a producer, we can help get you out there. But this is the real deal. There is no gimmicks, there are no type of games that they play. You produce the content, you follow the guidelines, it will air to the community and be an inspiration to the community.
CMAC is here to provide that venue. And it provides that venue to every aspect of the community, every part of the community. No one else does it that way. No one else offers that. The importance of CMAC's members cannot be overstated. CMAC is its members. We've trained hundreds of people, and we've already seen hundreds of stories, and the results of those stories are being felt in numerous ways.
I got involved with CMAC because a friend of mine already belonged, and we volunteered to film a fashion show, and because there were good classes for CMAC, they ran us all through all the instruments and equipment that we were going to be using. I felt good about the experience, and I felt really confident, and actually it was really a lot of fun too.
And the training is simple. You know, when I did it, I think I took 7 classes, and at the end of 7 classes I got a certificate and I started recording things. Anytime I've had questions, the staff here has been great, and they've given me the opportunity to try different things with whatever content I'm producing.
When I got around other members, seeing that they had different visions than I had, but that we could all partner together, it was just like a giant gumbo or a giant buffet of different ideas, different creators, but all with one purpose: to create quality content.
You can't do it all. You can't be the man in front and behind the camera for every production. CMAC needs volunteers because it's a community-based organization, and the more volunteers you have, the higher quality of production you can achieve in your program.
People can contribute to CMAC by just participating and coming up with your own clever ideas and coming to the functions, coming to the events.
I feel great about being able to send volunteers and people who are just connected with Arte Americas over to CMAC so they can develop their own art form. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another organization providing this level of resources here to the Valley to anybody who is interested, motivated, and wants to sign up. It's incredible. We love having them across the street, and they really are adding to what the Central Valley is providing.
CMAC is an outlet for anyone who wants to get their message or their skills or their artwork or whatever it is out into the community. It's a professional atmosphere where you can get the help that you need to be able to produce your program, and as a result, Fresno gets so much more to see and find out about.
I mean, when I see the smiles when people come through on orientation, or when they're hanging out in class, or seeing their projects being on the big screen in the lobby or on TV, that's magic. I mean, it's one thing to hope to do something, but it's another thing to help people fulfill and be that servant in the community. And that's what CMAC is. CMAC serves to help fulfill people's dreams.
Welcome back to McLean Stadium, where a dramatic turn of events in the final 5 minutes of the half now see the Sunnyside High Wildcats sitting on top 14-12 on Roosevelt. The Rough Riders came out so strong in the first half, especially in the first quarter, jumping on top 12-0 in their first two possessions of the football game, only to have things sputter a little bit, momentum change, and then Sunnyside was really having difficulties, big penalties put them in several binds, but they managed to recover, get things turned around, and get some breaks going their way. And the Wildcats sitting on top 14-12. We've got about 6 minutes to go until the start of the second half of play. One thing I want to share with you is in our junior varsity game earlier tonight, one of the very interesting elements of play tonight in the junior varsity game was a young woman, Nicole Romero, starting on defense for Sunnyside High in this ball game, in the junior varsity game earlier. And Fred had the chance to chat with her and actually brought her up to the booth, and we had a nice conversation with her between the two games. And Nicole is it a free safety, Fred, her position on the junior varsity?
Strong safety.
Strong
actually.
Safety.
And you don't see hardly any females playing football, and a lot of times it sounds kind of bad, but they're in a position of maybe being a holder or a kicker.
Right.
This young lady plays on the field, and she brings the hat. And, you know, none of this, powder puff stuff. She is playing football.
Well, as she shared with us, she started playing as a 7th grader at Kings Canyon Middle School, has carried on at Sunnyside High School, and that her family, her uncles both played, her grandfather loves football, and she just grew up in a football environment and loves the game and wanted to play. And, you know, tremendous to the administrators and the coaches at Sunnyside High School. She says they've been great to her. It's been a great experience, and everybody's treated her terrific, and she's a starter on the defense for the Sunnyside High Junior Varsity.
Yeah, we had no idea until when the game was pretty much ending here that this was even happening, and we're going to get to the point now that we're going to see this happening where it's not an anomaly. We have a local semi-pro women's team here, the Fresno or Central Valley War Eagles. I've yet to see them play, but, you know, follow them a little bit, know some of the coaches, and hey, they're going out and playing some physical football, and I think that's a good thing because it shows a lot of the young ladies when they're growing up, before they may have dreamed about playing football, there was no avenue for them, and things are opening up a little bit now, and even though I'm a cynical old man now, I think it's great. I love to see this.
Absolutely. Terrific. And you can tell she just loves being involved with the game and playing the game. And it's tremendous to see what the Sunnyside staff have done to enable her to be part of that program there. Well, two teams back to their sidelines, getting ready for the kickoff to bring the second half of play to you from McLean Stadium. As we've mentioned this week, the start of league play in the North Yosemite League, and these are the two teams most have felt are going to be the favorites in this league. I think most felt coming in, Sunnyside, the stronger team. They have been the last few years. But Enough Harris trying to get things turned around at Roosevelt. They had a 2-9 year last season. This year sitting on a 3-2 record coming in. And boy, this would be just absolutely huge for the rebuilding Roosevelt program if they were able to get on the winning side to start league play.
Oh, without any doubt at all, because Roosevelt, realistically, I looked at being another year or two away at best from really making a thrust at winning the NYL. In Sunnyside, I'm entertaining the argument that they could play in the CMAC instead of the NYL, because they've been the last few years just so far and away above everybody else, and that's why I applaud them for having a very tough non-league schedule, not just to be prepared for the playoffs a little bit more, but to have more competitive games. And this is something it's hard to talk about a league being real weak, but the NYL for the enrollment of the schools that we have, you have some real weak teams, and they're about to go up and take the next step up, and I think Roosevelt would like to be in that position in a couple of years too.
Well, Roosevelt came in. Maxwell on the season had 286 yards on 47 carries and a couple of scores, and he has added to that handsomely tonight. Don't have his totals as of halftime tonight, but he has had some big gains, and no doubt he has got some pretty sizable yards thus far in the first half. Coming in as a team, Roosevelt averaging 185 yards through the air and 112 on the ground, and I think we saw that reflected a little bit in the initial defensive game plan that Sunnyside came out with, showing blitz throughout the first couple of possessions.
Well, when teams have been successful with Roosevelt, Mendota was successful, Selma was successful about flushing De La Rosa out of the pocket and making them make plays on the run. He's not real comfortable doing that, and this is where you have to have that good ground game established, and I think that they've done that at this point.
Well, I don't know many quarterbacks that are able to throw going in the opposite direction, throw running to their left when they were right-hander, and that's one of the things we noticed Mendota doing very well, getting pressure on him from that right side, forcing him to move to his left and throw off balance, throw against the grain, and he had a lot of difficulty doing that successfully.
Well, and Selma, I think, was able to do the same thing, because these coaches, they're watching game film of every team they've played, just trying to pick up on things. And Roosevelt has adapted very nice in the first quarter, but they got to get that out. They got to get their offensive line going again too, and establishing command at the point of contact.
You're watching tremendous school spirit. You're looking at some of the Sunnyside student body section. As they're having great fun here tonight. The Roosevelt band working their way back up into the stands after being down on the field during parts of halftime. Roosevelt going to kick it off. Sunnyside will receive to start our second half. 14-12, Sunnyside taking the lead on a score with 25 seconds left in the first half of play to swing the tide in their direction after pretty much an all Roosevelt first quarter.
Dan, I just got a score from Ratcliffe Stadium, and Bullard has got a surprising 7-6 lead over Sanger at the half.
Very interesting.
Sanger's 5-0, but their schedule is somewhat weak, and Bullard's only 1-4, but they played arguably the toughest schedule in the Valley.
Well, we are underway in the second half. Deshaun Ruffin bringing the kickoff out to the 25-yard line, where Sunnyside High will begin play here in the second half. Gain of about 14 yards on that return.
That late touchdown the Wildcats got right before half has really given them a little bit more bounce in their step. A couple of fumbles and some really poor penalties on by Sunnyside has kept them from maybe dominating a little bit more tonight.
Donovan Kong, the quarterback. Give goes to Hawkins, runs into his own right tackle, and down he goes.
Loss of 1 yard, number 7. Number 7, Carl Hawkins.
Yeah, now we've seldom seen Hawkins get thrown for losses. That's his second tackle behind the line of scrimmage tonight.
Could have bounced that one out. He had a lot of running room. Second down and 11 from the 25. 3 receivers top of your screen, and that's where the play is going. And it goes in and out of the hands of Rayon Heights. And that'll bring up a 3rd down play for the Wildcats.
If they would have been able to connect on that, that had at least first down yardage all over it. Roosevelt's defense was a little surprised by that. Now Sunnyside on that last touchdown drive, they converted 2 plays, 3rd and long. Now they have another one now, 3rd and 12.
Timeout on the field. Timeout Sunnyside.
And with a big play staring them in the face, Sunnyside decides to take a timeout and talk things over. 3rd and 11 from the 25.
And for the second half in a row, we've had a team burn a timeout with less than a minute gone in said half.
Better to be safe than sorry?
I'll let you know after the play.
Why didn't I know that was coming?
We definitely have the advantage of hindsight up here.
Dan Taylor, Fred Clark with you tonight from McLean Stadium. Glad you're with us here on CMAC Sports for the start of the North Yosemite League half of the high school football season. Roosevelt and Sunnyside. Sunnyside sitting on top 14-12, having scored with 25 seconds left in the first half to grab their first lead of the night. And Sunnyside facing a 3rd and 11 from the 25-yard line. 3 receivers top of your screen, 2 at the bottom. Donovan Kong, the quarterback. And he underthrows his receiver, Johnny De La Cruz, and that'll bring up a 4th down.
And Height was wide open over the middle, and when that play started, and even before Sunnyside had called their timeout, Dan, Sunnyside had a mismatch there, as you said, at the top of her screen. Roosevelt was playing soft, and it looked like there was plenty of room for first down yardage. Dan, this is just the best night so far this season for high school football.
It has been terrific. Jesus Romero deep to field the punt. I'm sorry, Fred.
Probably in the mid-70s right now. This is ideal.
It is a beautiful night.
We got a fake.
This is Carl Hawkins. Did he pick up enough? I think he was about 3 yards shy.
Yeah, he's well short of the first down.
At the 34-yard line, short of the first down marker. Turnover on downs, Rider football.
Indeed, Carl Hawkins coming up short. Ridden out of bounds, 3 yards shy of a first down, and that'll turn it over. Roosevelt with terrific field possession.
I like the call, though, Dan.
I do, too.
You know, I love fakes on field goals. I love fakes on punts. I like to see it often.
No, it was a terrific call. Kind of pushed the play a lot wider than I think he'd hoped to go. And you saw some of the coaches talking to a couple of the receivers of this as if they missed some key blocks on that play.
Yeah, he was walking the tightrope.
Oh, that running play, that was give to KO, and it was really snuffed out for a 6-yard loss. Well, now they're going to spot it at the 40-yard line. Give him a generous spot. So that'll be a 5-yard loss.
Yeah, they gave him a generous spot on that. And Sunnyside ate that play up. There was no surprise there at all.
DeAndre Moorhead really had that play snuffed out for the Wildcats. Brings up a second down and 15 from the 40. Pass is overthrown and intended for Esteban Carrillo.
Yeah, the Rough Riders just do not seem to be clicking at all right now. They got a big break when they were able to stuff out that fake punt, but they so far have yet to capitalize on that.
Well, the key guy for Roosevelt in the first half was their tailback Howard Maxwell III. We saw him limp off at one point in the second quarter, and not certain if he is back in the lineup. Officials calling a timeout. Looks like we've got another timeout burned. This one will be taken by the Rough Riders. Roosevelt takes a timeout with 10 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the third quarter. Riders trailing 14-12 to Sunnyside. And at 3rd and 15, they've got a big play staring him in the face.
And Dan, I'm going to take advantage of this timeout and walk next door and see if I can find out what happened to Maxwell.
So the Riders huddle up around their coaching staff on the far side. We'll take another look at the last play. As had a receiver out in the flat and just flat overthrew him. Riders, of course, throughout the season have led with a pass, but tonight the sets that Sunnyside showed them on defense throughout the first quarter led them to run the ball. Looks as though Maxwell is back in the lineup, in the backfield. Indeed he is.
Yes, he is.
3rd and 15.
He was dinged, and I was assured that he will be playing the rest of the half.
This is Maxwell in motion, and the pass is deflected by Moorhead at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Moorhead is totally blown up 2 plays on his own. It's 4th down and what I believe is a punting situation for the Rough Riders.
Brings up a 4th and 15. De La Rosa deep in punting position.
Only 8 yards deep, however.
And it's a low snap, and he's going to take off running, and he's going to throw it. He's got a man open. Incomplete. That was Damian Ross. Unable to bring that one down. As De La Rosa, we've got penalty flags on the field, looking to see what the call is. It's like an ineligible man downfield, and that will add some more yardage.
Well, what number was it?
Sunnyside's just declined that penalty and take the ball, and that was
number 11,
looked like a catchable ball, but it was all for naught because it was coming back anyway.
Result of the play, 1st down, Sunnyside.
Take it to the look because you had another bad snap on a punt situation. De La Rosa very wisely starts looking downfield for receivers.
And as soon as Ross had the ball in his hands, he was hit by Cameron Irvin, but it looked catchable.
So Sunnyside starts their possession at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10. Donovan Kong with a give. And that's Devon Jones hit in the backfield for a loss of about 3 yards. Ricky Valentine. And Arroyo also bursting up through the middle. They're going to say it's a loss of 1, puts it back at the 39-yard line. 2nd down and 11. Give once again to Jones, still fighting for any kind of positive yardage. Looks as though he may have gained a yard.
That was a tough game for Jones. He looked like those old pinball games there, Dan. He just kept getting hit and hit, going side to side. We'll see it again right here. Boom.
He kept the legs moving and kept trying to lunge for positive yardage.
It's the best 2-yard gain we're going to see tonight.
3rd and 9 for the Wildcats. Kong's pass incomplete for Braun Heights. And we're looking at a 4th down again.
Yeah, that ball had nothing on it.
Not sure if it got deflected or just didn't have a good grip on it.
Well, De La Cruz back to punt. And Roosevelt's being very wary on this. Okay, slowly. No, who is that going back? That's
Jesus Romero.
Yeah, Romero back about the 30-yard line. Nice kick.
Ball bounces at the 15-yard line and will bounce dead at the 12. Now that's where the Riders will put it in play, 12-yard line, as they trail 14-12 with 8:43 to play here in the 3rd quarter from McLean Stadium.
And so far, I definitely give the special teams edge to Sunnyside. Their punting game, the few punts they've made, they've had good bounces on it, good coverage, and the Rough Riders, that's one thing if I'm going to critique negatively. They have a lot of special teams work to do.
De La Rosa brings the offense out onto the field. And again, as we've noted, they have been putting the football up into the air predominantly in this half. And the minute I say that, they pick up 11 yards on the ground for a 1st down.
That was Maxwell again.
14-yard gain on the play. At the 26-yard line.
Well, Maxwell has had a big night for the Riders.
His line, part of the success is his line was really opening some holes up and pushing Sunnyside back initially. And because of their passing game, it kept the linebackers from cheating up too much.
1st and 10 now from the 26-yard line. Man in motion. He gets the fake. Maxwell gets the ball. And Maxwell picks up 5. Now he's across the 1st down marker. Picks up about 14 yards on that run. Howard Maxwell III with another big gainer and a 1st down for the Rough Riders.
Gets them out from the shadows of their goal post, close to the 40-yard line. And this is what the Riders need to do. They need to give their defense a chance to rest a little bit and try and do some downhill running on this Sunnyside defense.
Officials lay the ball at the 38-yard line of the Rough Riders. 1st and 10.
See that again. Maxwell hits that open hole, bounces to the outside, gets good yardage.
Flush from the pocket. Looks like a busted play. He's got 3 defenders chasing him. De La Rosa just chucks it, and we're waiting to see a flag. I didn't see a receiver near him. Now, was Maxwell in the vicinity? You see the Sunnyside coaches pointing and asking the officials. There goes the flag now.
Yeah, I don't know what took so long on that one because there was nobody there and he just threw it into the crowd. And I thought De La Rosa was a little bit too late on that one too. He had time to get rid of the ball.
Lost him down. 2nd down.
So that's going to be marched back to the 19-yard line.
Wow.
And they lose it down. Big intentional grounding call. And now it's 2nd and 29 for the Riders from their own 19-yard line.
2nd 29 is a brutal one.
How many times do you see one, let alone 2 intentional grounding calls in a game?
Seldom.
He's got his receiver out to the 35-yard line. Big gainer for Esteban Carrillo. That's been his go-to guy so far this season. And Carrillo brought down at the 35. That's going to...
Carrillo is a good possession receiver. Tough, hangs on to the football. They got more than half of that back. They didn't panic and try and get it all at once. And at least they're in a manageable position right now on the field.
Riders pick up 16, brings up 3rd down and 13, just shy of the 35-yard line. Maxwell in motion. And before the play can get going, penalty flags fly.
That's going to be on the Riders here.
False start, number 1 on the offense.
A little bit of
5-yard
movement right
penalty
before the ball
remains.
snapped.
3rd down.
If you were on the sideline, would a clipboard have been thrown about now?
Yeah.
I kind of thought so. So the officials move the ball to the 30-yard line, and it's 3rd and 18 for Roosevelt.
Well, they lost 5 yards on that, but I think the Riders caught a little bit of a break. They were trying just a little bit of an out pass here on the short side of the field, and Sunnyside had, I thought that they were in a position to really snuff that out, so at least they get another shot at it that didn't cost them a down.
Well, you're also with these penalties, I hate to say there's anything good about a penalty, but you're giving your offensive line a breather.
Yeah.
And they have really been run through the ringer thus far. Jailbreak there, and he dumps it off for Maxwell, and Maxwell loses the football. And a penalty flag is thrown. Was that a face mask? Take another look on the replay coming up here from CMAC Sports. Maxwell, he had the blockers set up. Nope. That ball just came flying loose. Sunnyside grabbed it. Officials are conferring at the 37-yard line. We've yet to see a call.
Yeah, there was no face mask on that. It may have looked at it at their at their angle. It definitely wasn't from ours.
Well, they're pointing in the direction of Sunnyside. We've yet to see the officials give us the signal, but it's coming up.
Ball after the recovery, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 6, taunting on Sunnyside. 15-yard penalty.
There you hear the PA announcer here at McLean Stadium. Unsportsmanlike conduct. The call charged to the Wildcats. Ball will be marched back.
Well, Dan, that was a disastrous play for the Rough Riders, not just by losing the football, but Maxwell had blockers out in front of him. They were not able to make that block. Maxwell coughed up the football without the contact. Yeah, that looked like it was going to go for big yardage.
Well, they had it set up. They had it read well. They had it set up well, and terrific tackle on the part of the Wildcats. And
outnumbered 5-1.
And out comes the football. That's Carl Hawkins with a pickup of 3 on the first play of the Wildcats' possession. Brings it on up closer to midfield at the 48-yard line. Marcelino Gonzalez on the tackle for the Rough Riders.
2nd down and 7 for Sunnyside.
Donovan Gong at quarterback. Carl Hawkins, the lone back beside him in the backfield. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 at the top of your screen. Give goes to Carl Hawkins, and he's got running room. Cuts back, gets across midfield, pushing his way toward that first down marker, and he's going to be just shy.
47-yard line of Roosevelt.
When Hawkins gets his momentum going, he's just a sophomore. He hasn't fully developed yet, but he runs tough and angry. Be a little bit, it's going to be another long yard to go.
Well, the spot's just shy of the 46-yard line of the Riders. And it's a 3rd and 1 for Sunnyside High School. Gong trying to space out the backfield. Clapping the signals. Give goes to Devon Jones. He changes direction, looking for a block to spring him and to pick up some more yardage. And he is tripped up for a 3-yard loss.
That was an outstanding tackle there, as Dan and Fred have talked about. Got him by the ankles, tripped him up.
Take another look here. You'll see him Fred tackle Devon Jones. Indeed, got him by the lower half. So a 4th and 4 now at the 49-yard line. Carl Hawkins going to be deep, and that is always a scary proposition when he is the deep man in a punt situation.
And Rough Riders have got to be very careful not to jump offside and be aware of all contingencies. Yeah, as you said, Hawkins is in there, and he's only 8 yards deep there. So
well, he's got Kong at quarterback
Oh,
up
yeah.
under center. And the snap is fumbled.
yeah, it looked like that the Wildcats moved on that.
Well, you see the offensive lineman from Sunnyside pointing in the direction of Roosevelt. The officials don't buy it. It's a fumble, and it's Roosevelt's football.
I'd like to see this one again. It looked to me like Sunnyside may have moved, but it's all moot
Well, there was
point now.
confusion one way or another.
Yeah.
So Sunnyside surrenders the football. Roosevelt takes over at their own 49-yard line, trailing 14-12. 3:53 remaining here in the third quarter of this North Yosemite League opener for these two schools. The two that were figured by many to contest for the league title this season.
Well, the only team that I could have made a weak argument for to crash this two-team party was Fresno High, and I still have them number 3 here behind these two teams.
Give up the middle, stopped after a gain of about a yard. That was Maxwell.
And Dan, that was another play that looked like it had a lot of promise at the beginning, and Maxwell only got a yard out of that.
Plenty of enthusiasm beneath us in the Sunnyside High rooting section as their defense gets into position here for the 2nd down and 9 play from midfield. Out of the shotgun. On the fake. De La Rosa looking for a receiver. Throws it. It's almost intercepted. Pass deflected by Devon Jones. Had it in his hands and couldn't hang on. That would have been a big, big turnover.
No doubt about it. The ball hit him right in the hands.
Actually, Braun Heights was the defender.
See this again.
Hit him in the chest, and down it went.
And they were seriously out of whack on that. There wasn't a Roosevelt receiver within reasonable distance.
3rd down and 9 from midfield for the Riders. 3 receivers to the near side. Swings it out. 2 defenders have that play snuffed out. And it goes for a loss of 5 yards.
And what we see happening right now, Dan, is Sunnyside is not respecting Roosevelt's medium passing game. They're crowding the line of scrimmage, and Roosevelt's going to have to do something to adjust this. They're going to have to maybe run a couple of draw plays, maybe a couple of delayed screens, because what they're doing now is not working. And De La Rosa's now in their very short punt formation.
4th and 14, and they're punting from the 45. Very quick snap and punt. Fair catch called for. Heights hauls it in. And the Wildcats will now go to work. Officials lay the ball at the Sunnyside 29-yard line. Wildcats sitting on top 14-12 with 2:24 to play in the third quarter here from McLean Stadium. Glad you're with us here on CMAC Sports. Week 6 of Central Valley High School football, but our first week of North Yosemite League play.
Yes, Dan, with Roosevelt's short punt formation, it does force the defense to come up close because you do have a quarterback that's punting, but that's Roosevelt's 3rd punt that's been monumentally unsuccessful tonight. 20 yards does not cut it on a punt.
This is Hawkins, and he's got a hole. He cuts it back. He's across the 40. Brought down across the 45 at the 46-yard line. Carl Hawkins, terrific pickup there, and he's been on the brink of a big one all night long. We've seen him tripped up with a lot of running room ahead of him, but this time he puts it all together and pulls this one out to the 46-yard line for a Sunnyside 1st down.
And even when Hawkins is going down, his legs are still moving.
First and 10, Wildcats. Kong, Heights, trying to get outside, And he picks up 12 for another first down. Sunnyside on the move.
For Sunnyside, they're on Heights. Stopped at the 30.
The key on a play like that, Fred, is getting the ball out of the quarterback's hand quick.
And they were able to do it on that play. And Dan, what we haven't really seen yet is Sunnyside has not really taken advantage of the huge height advantage that they have over Roosevelt's DBs.
First and 10 at the Roosevelt 42-yard line. 3 receivers to the near side. Keeper up the middle, picks up 6. Now 7 and 8 across the 35-yard line. Kong brought down.
We have flags here. We may have a holding penalty, but Kong did a good job holding on that ball and actually froze the Roosevelt defense. They thought he was going to hand it off. Well, the 9-yard gain is going to be a 10-yard loss now.
There's been a frustration that I'm sure that coaching staff is going to go to work to fix on Monday. It's going to be penalties. Penalties have hurt the Wildcats badly tonight.
Big time. This is a spot penalty, so it's almost 15 yards here.
So the ball spotted at the Sunnyside 43-yard line. First and 25. Kong with a rush. Dumps it off. Jones in the clear. Brought down at the 30-yard line.
It's going to come back again. I think we had an illegal block on the Wildcats.
Penalty flag down about 2 yards shy of where Jones ended up on the ground, and an injured Roosevelt player being tended to on the field, and the teams will head over to their respective benches while the player is tended to. But a terrific run by Jones down to the 30-yard line, but indications are it's going to come back.
I think that's Romero still down on the ground for Roosevelt. And he was pushed from behind on that play. That's what the penalty's going to be.
Indeed, he is down on the ground being tended to by the medical staff, and his head coach Adolf Harris comes out to check on his player. Rough Riders will head over to their bench area to talk to the coaching staff. Sunnyside's players doing the same as Romero is now up, and he will head to the sideline. Penalty flag is waved off.
Well, I'm going to have to dispute that one a little bit. On the replay, he was clearly pushed from behind on there.
So that'll bring up a first down. It's marked at the 32-yard line.
First and 10, ball placed at the 32-yard line.
2 receivers to each side for Donovan Kong. Give goes to Hawkins, and it's a reverse back to Height. Height was hoping the quarterback was going to get him a block, and he picked up a couple of extra yards, got out close to the first down marker, maybe a gain of about 9 yards. Breon Heights with a terrific gain on the reverse play, taking the pitch from Carl Hawkins.
Yeah, I thought that was going to end up in the end zone because Roosevelt had completely overran the play.
Take another look at it. Is a terrific play call for the Wildcats.
See, look at all the green jerseys. We had one man that stayed home there.
Very aggressive pursuit by the Rough Riders made that play possible. So what Wyoming coach did that had that in the playbook?
I think that was Paul Roach back in Gordy Wood's heyday.
Was it a holdover from Dennis Erickson, huh?
Yep.
Personal foul against Sunnyside.
Another personal foul against the Wildcats.
That's the 3rd personal foul call against the Wildcats tonight.
72 on the offense.
What a
15-yard
blow to their
down
drive.
from the spot of the foul remains first down.
First down still. Ball's being marked off.
Now the Wildcats got, I guess, something of a break because it appeared to happen after the play was over, but they're still calling it a first down.
38
So the ball spotted at the 38-yard line. Said, I'm sure what Gordon Wood's going to talk about is he wants his players to play with passion, but controlled passion.
That means don't be the first one that gets caught.
This is Hawkins up the middle, big hole, cuts back, picks up 5 more, and he's brought down to the 19-yard line. Carl Hawkins with a terrific run for the Sunnyside High Wildcats.
It's going to give him a first down, and the ball was almost on the ground for a minute, too. Hawkins made that play.
Officials lay it at the 20-yard line. Tremendous talent, and he's only a sophomore. We'll be seeing him for 2 more years. Gong from the shotgun at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10, Wildcats. This is Hawkins again. He's got room. They give him 3 yards on the play, down to the 17-yard line.
He runs a tough 3 yards too, Dan.
Runs about 20 yards to get 3. Clock ticking down, 17 seconds in the third quarter of play here at McLean Stadium. Wildcats bring it up. Riders adjusting. Give us to Hawkins up the middle. He's at the 15, bulling his way forward.
Wow.
Comes free and prances into the end zone, but the play had been whistled dead.
I don't know if he was totally stopped on that one or not.
Gordon Wood looking a little dejected out there on the field in front of the Sunnyside bench. I think he thought the same thing. As that closes out the third quarter of play here from McLean Stadium, with Sunnyside High sitting on a 14-12 lead and threatening for more. And thus far, the third quarter has been the Carl Hawkins show.
It certainly has. And Carl Hawkins, even when the ball's not in his hands, he's dangerous as a receiver. You put him in that punt formation, keeps the defense honest, and he's a heck of a blocker when the ball's not in his hands. Complete football player at a young age.
So early in this one, we saw Howard Maxwell III be the show in the first half, and now we're seeing Carl Hawkins do much the same. A tremendous running attack behind that big line. Now, once he down, he'd know those legs continued to churn, but the trouble was the officials had blown it dead.
Once the whistle blows, they're not going to say, hey, I made a mistake on this, play on.
Right. But you know that's a film that at some point in time Gordon Wood is going to bring to the attention of the officials organization and say, wait a minute here.
Yeah, he's not one to sit by quiet and idle. Very fiery head coach, and he's still arguing his point here. Referee Kevin Blevins stuck his hands out and said, what am I supposed to do at this point? Even when the refs know they've blown it, what can you do?
Looking at a 3rd and 6 for Sunnyside from the Roosevelt 16-yard line. Hawkins in the backfield with Kong. He gets the football. Churning forward, looks like he's going to be a yard or 2 short. And Kong is motioning to the bench as if to say, let's go for this thing.
No, they're definitely going for it.
Number 7 for Hawkins brings up 4th down and 4.
Their kicking game is not terrible, but right now, the way their offense is moving right now, I like the call. Go for it.
Fourth and 4 at the 14-yard line. Bad snap, rolled back to him, and Donovan Kong has no chance. Jesus Romero brings him down, and that's going to turn it over to the Rough Riders.
I'm not speechless, obviously.
Enrique Arroyo making that tackle, but in such a critical point, such a critical play in this game, and a terrible snap is rolled back to the quarterback. He had no chance to do anything
Yeah, I don't know what happened on that.
Rough Riders take over possession at their own 23-yard line. Give to Maxwell, right up the middle. 10 yards, 15 yards. 3 defenders trying to converge and bring him down. And he's hauled down at the 50-yard line.
A big play for the Rough Riders. Dan, they haven't scored since the end of the first quarter. They haven't really put any good drives together. They need to make something happen now to really give us a game going into the fourth quarter here.
Maxwell picks up 27 on that carry, and that's what we were seeing out of him back in the first quarter. Maxwell again dances through the line, back into the second layer, and he's hauled down after a gain of 5 at the 45-yard line.
How things can change so quickly in this game, Dan. We had a situation a little while ago. It looked like Sunnyside was on the verge of making this a 2-score game, and now Roosevelt's starting to pound a little bit.
Maxwell goes out of the lineup, and he runs immediately over to the training staff, and it looks as though the trainer wants to possibly adjust his ankle tape. I'm not sure, but he's over on the sideline with a trainer. Give going up the middle. It is stopped the line of scrimmage. That's Isaiah Chambers coming in to spell Maxwell, and now Maxwell does come back into the lineup.
And Chambers did hit the line hard, but Sunnyside's defense was waiting. They had 8 guys stacked in the box waiting for this.
Third and 5 Riders at the 45-yard line of the Sunnyside High Wildcats. Key play for them coming up here. Roosevelt playing catch-up, but they haven't been in any kind of scoring position, I should say, here in the second half. After jumping out of the gate quick, scoring twice, their offense has gone cold ever since. Third and 5, De La Rosa looking to go up top. He's going deep, and he's going to well overthrow his receiver down near the 5-yard line. So a 4th down situation now for the Riders.
4th and a long 5, Dan, because their punting game is just one step this side of horrible. I think they have no choice but to go for it.
Well, I can tell that the Wildcats think he is because they don't put anybody back.
No.
De La Rosa, 2 receivers to the near side. He's trying to flee the defenders and is unable to, and he's brought down back at the Roosevelt 48-yard line.
And that was a very good covered sack by the Sunnyside defense. Everybody was covered in the backfield. He didn't just want to put it up in the air wisely.
So Sunnyside takes over. They will take over, it appears, at midfield. Wildcats trying to hang on to the lead, up 14-12 with 9 minutes to play. Drama here on opening night of the North Yosemite League season, week 6 of the high school football season. Glad you're with us here on CMAC Sports.
And this is one of the better games we're going to have, Dan. We've had a couple of them where we've had the running clock, and that's no fun for anybody.
Not at all.
Colin getting his last-minute instructions from Coach Wood.
Carl Hawkins keeps the legs churning, picks up about a yard.
And that is one hard-working young man.
Cross midfield, ball laid at the Roosevelt 49-yard line.
Second down and 9.
Second and 9. Kong to Height. Spins free. Trying to find a lane and crosses the first down marker and then some. Penalty flag has been dropped.
And there's now this
officials have ushered a player off the field. Not sure what that call is.
Maybe that was one of those things. Maybe it was a cool off. Sometimes you'll have an official send a player off, tell the coach to let him cool off for a minute. Now we have officials timeout.
Not sure if we can see it in here. It was the number 50 for Sunnyside who was sent off. His Height with a tremendous pickup of about 15 yards.
And Height made that happen. As he was initially stopped about 3 yards from the first down, and he was able to twist, break free, and get first down yardage.
Did a tremendous job on that pickup. So it's 1st and 10, Sunnyside at the Roosevelt 34-yard line. Wildcats trying to add to their lead here. Kong bringing him up at the line of scrimmage.
At the 33-yard line.
Out here to Height once again to the near side. Trying to break free. May have picked up a yard on that play at most.
And Ricky Arroyo was the first Rough Rider on the scene, and he was able to stop that from maybe developing into a bigger game. Grabbed him just under the thighs and was able to hold on till his friends arrived for some help.
2nd down and 9. Give up the middle. This is Devon Jones, and he's got running room. Inside the 20-yard line, brought down at about the 15, and it's a first down for Sunnyside.
And Andre Bowers with a last-second lunge at the ankles kept that from being a touchdown.
16-yard gain up the middle. 1st and 10, Wildcats at the Roosevelt 17-yard line.
Ball spotted at the 17-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Riders were showing blitz. This is Jones, wide open, touchdown Sunnyside.
And when you pick up a blitz, once you get 1 yard past the line and past that blitz, you're going in.
Indeed, Roosevelt was showing blitz. A couple of linebackers creeping up. Sunnyside exploits it. So with 6:58 to play in the ball game, the Wildcats punch it in for their 3rd score of the night. Jose Ortiz will attempt the extra point out of the hold of his quarterback Donovan Kong. And Wildcats are a man short, and they're trying to hustle somebody out onto the field.
The kick is no good, and that keeps us a 1-score game, Dan.
Looks as though somebody may have gotten a hand on it, not quite sure, but it's a 20-12 score with 6:58 to play.
And it does give the Rough Riders a gasp of hope. Now, they haven't done much. Wanted to see that again. The Rough Riders had some penetration on that kick, and as you said, it looked like somebody may have got a hand on it.
Because Ortiz has a very strong leg. His kickoffs have been impressive. Never seemed to have any trouble at all on the extra points thus far. Not just tonight, but anytime we've seen him. So it had to wonder if somebody managed to burst through and get a hand on that. So Ortiz will kick it off. Riders with 2 men deep. Roosevelt trailing 20-18 with 6:58 to play here from McLean Stadium.
Well, with just 2 clicks shy of 7 minutes left in the game, Roosevelt doesn't want to panic yet, but their defense is just getting worn down. They need to hold on to the ball a little bit here. If not score, hold on to it.
The return coming straight up the gut across the 30-yard line. Good field position for Roosevelt to start this drive. A very important drive for the Riders. They have not managed to punch it in since their second possession of the game tonight. They trail 20-12, and time is running out for Roosevelt in this critical North Yosemite League opener here from McLean Stadium.
I like that run back from KO then. He didn't hesitate. He just went where he hoped there might be a little bit of a hole. 32-yard line, not bad starting position for the Rough Riders.
So is this Maxwell, and Maxwell?
Well, at this point, yeah. Got to try and keep the ball in his hands because their passing game has been less than advertised, but Sunnyside's got something to do with that tonight too.
De La Rosa rolling out. He's got a receiver wide open far side. That goes all the way down across the 40-yard line.
That was Joshua Williams. He's coming up a little bit slow, but that's going to be a huge gain for the Rough Riders and get him down in position now.
A little misdirection there, and De La Rosa turning back and finding his receiver wide open, and a tremendous pickup down to the 40-yard line of the Sunnyside Wildcats. It goes to Maxwell, but we've got a penalty flag, and the officials whistle this one dead before it can get going. Yeah, there you've got it, illegal procedure, the call against the Rough Riders.
And if you're going to try and make it up on the ground, a 5-yard penalty and 15 yards to go puts a little bit of a damper on it. I like that last play, though, Dan.
Indeed. That was a good play call. De La Rosa getting instructions from the Roosevelt coaches on the far side. His teammates wait for him in the huddle. 6:12 to play here from McLean Stadium. Big possession for the Rough Riders, who have not managed to score since their second possession of the night. Maxwell in motion, far side, comes to the near side. Across the 40, down to the 35-yard line. Did it come loose?
Yes, it did. That's going to be a Sunnyside ball.
That was Joshua Williams who took the pass and took it down to the 37-yard line. Out came the football, and Sunnyside pounced on it for the key turnover.
And it was just stripped away. Williams didn't have a firm handle on it. He was holding it with one hand, and when you're going to hold it with one hand when contact is about to happen, that's what happens.
Now you look at Carl Hawkins on the other side. Is this Hawkins, and Hawkins now for the next 5 minutes and 52 seconds to make that clock your 12th man?
That's what I would be doing.
20-12, Sunnyside on top. Play action. Kong down the middle, pass incomplete. That was Brian Heights running down the middle of the field. Kong couldn't get it to him.
One thing we'll see, Dan, with Coach Wood and his staff, they usually don't sit on leads. They don't milk the clock. They keep their no-huddle offense going and keep trying to go high octane. And there's arguments that could be made for that. I'm not going to try to make one right now, though.
2nd out and 10 from the 37. Low snap, give to Hawkins, and he is nailed in the backfield for a loss of 4 yards. Sunnyside has had their problems trying to get that ball from center into the quarterback's hands tonight. And that was costly right there.
Loss of about 2 yards, 3rd down and 12.
Now they'll say it's a loss of 2. Put the ball at the 35-yard line. 3rd down and 12. Clock continues to run. We're at 5:15.
Yeah, I'd be burning up the film study seeing what the problem is, because that's happened probably 4 or 5 times where Kong has not gotten a good snap back. A couple of them at real key times.
Just doesn't get off the ground. Kong to the air, incomplete. Trying for heights once again at the near sideline. It was about 4 yards shy.
Flags down, and what are we going to have now? An eligible receiver downfield.
Participation against Sunnyside.
I think the Rough Riders would be wise to decline that penalty.
Number 72
illegal
on the offense.
Participation.
Penalties declined.
Canadian
4th down.
Rules there with 12 men. Is that what they're saying?
Maybe that would have been it.
Johnny De La Cruz deep on 4th and 12 in punting position for the Wildcats. It's going to bounce at the 25, cross the 20. And the Wildcats will down it at the 15-yard line. So with 4:49 to play, Roosevelt gets another crack at it on offense. Trailing 20-12 here from McLean Stadium.
Well, Dan, on the last possession, I didn't think it was time to push a panic button, but now with under 5 minutes left to go in the half, you've got 85 yards to go, and I think they're just about in that position now.
Riders across the way around their head coach Otnoff Harris, talking about the play calls and the options off of it. As Johnny De La Rosa will bring the Riders back out onto the field.
Now you've got 2 timeouts left, and I don't think you abandon the run game completely. But you're going to have to look downfield a little bit.
At the wrong 16-yard line.
The Riders begin this possession at the 16. 3 receivers to the near side.
Rough Riders move a little bit too soon again. That's what, the 5th time tonight.
Somebody a little over anxious there on that line.
What I'd like to see with the Riders right now, good things have happened when the ball's in Maxwell's hands. I'd like to see maybe a screen pass, a few little out passes.
Maxwell the lone back in the backfield for the Riders. 3 receivers near side, and they're trying to go to the air. They're trying to go to the screen, and Maxwell's got loads of room in front of him. 10-yard gain, penalty flags fly.
Yeah,
Ridden out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, I thought we had a hold way back as the play was developing. Nothing was called, but then a flag went in about 3 seconds later, and we'll see what happens.
One of the Roosevelt interior linemen, very slow to get up.
Trying to work it out right now, bouncing up and down a little bit.
Officials conferring, and indeed, it's a hold. Charge to the Rough Riders.
Now I'd be interested to see where they called it at.
Block in the back to call.
And right when the play was developing, Dan, that was one of the things. I didn't think it sprung Maxwell. We'll see it right there.
Ah. Are you saying ticky-tack?
Well, with all of the penalties that have been called on the Wildcats, I can't really call that a tic-tac penalty, but I wouldn't have called it.
The question becomes, is it a play that was key to the success of the offensive play, and therefore it was something done illegal?
No, it wasn't.
That's airs it out. He's got a receiver, and that's a pass interference call coming. Two flags come flying on that pass. It looks like it'll be an interference call going against Sunnyside.
Now in high school, though, that's a 15-yard penalty. It's not a spot penalty.
But that'll be enough for a first down to keep the Roosevelt drive alive.
We're going to see this one again here.
5. Pass interference, number 5 for the defense. That 15-yard penalty results in a first down.
So 15-yard pickup on the penalty. That will move the ball to the 27-yard line. De La Rosa calling out the signals. He's looking to put it in the air. Comes to the near side. Complete at the 32. Esteban Carrillo.
Carrillo did a good job holding on to that after contact. Dan, what you were saying after that illegal block by the Rough Riders, at Edison we were playing down in Hanford. I think it was 1981 or something. We had something like that happen. Perfectly executed screen pass and ticky-tack call, something just like that. A little bit of shove. The play was 40 yards away from it, but it was in Hanford.
2nd and 4 for the Riders at the 33-yard line. De La Rosa looking to go up top. Overthrows a wide open receiver at the 45-yard line.
That was KO, and he was open, and he was in stride. De La Rosa just missed him.
Brings up 3rd and 4 at the 33. Yeah, and I don't know how the rule book reads. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but it's always been a question I've had, that if it's behind the play, if it's an inconsequential act that didn't have anything to do with the success of the play, is it a penalty?
I know a lot of officials that say yes. I say no.
De La Rosa hustles his teammates up to the line of scrimmage. 3 receivers at the top of your screen. Blitz coming. This is Maxwell, and he's dragged down from behind for a loss of 3 yards.
And that was big play by Sunnyside's defense. They read that completely. To give Maxwell a head of steam, he was going to make something happen. They lost a yard on that play.
3:20 to play in this game. Roosevelt with no choice but to go for it here on 4th and 4 from their own 33-yard line. Waiting for Adolf Harris to send the play in with Jordan De La Rosa, his quarterback. Romero comes out, and we've got a timeout taken. Roosevelt takes a timeout with 2:59 remaining to play. Riders trailing Sunnyside 20-12 here on night 1 of North Yosemite League play here in Fresno.
Yeah, Dan, Coach Harris, he needed to, that was the timeout. You say, well, he's down to 1 now. If they don't convert on this play, he's going to need the timeouts. But I think he's thinking, we may not get the ball back at all. Let's use it now. I've got to stop using all these hand motions up here because nobody can see me making the hand motions except you. You don't care. You know what I'm doing. And it doesn't, I need to find a way just to keep my hands. I'm acting like John Madden used to.
I'll hand you this bottle of water, and you can just hang on to it.
Hold on to it.
So looking at 4th and 4 from the 33-yard line. The band's playing, trying to get the crowd fired up. Big play for Roosevelt. The game could be hinged on the success or failures of this play. 4th and 4 from their own 33, trailing by 8, 20-12. 2:59 to play here at McLean Stadium. Sunnyside creeping up, showing blitz. On the bootleg, De La Rosa looking upfield, hanging onto the football. Did he get the first down? I think he did. I think he had enough for the first down there.
Well, he does. He's going to have first down yardage where they spotted it. Big play by De La Rosa.
A lot of room to run, and he took advantage of it up at the 40-yard line. So the Riders keep the drive alive and keep hope alive. 2:51 to play. 20-12, Sunnyside leads.
They have 60 yards and a foot to go.
Romero exits as De La Rosa brings the team up to the line. Maxwell, the lone rider in the backfield alongside De La Rosa. Officials once again trying to get their signals straight.
Yeah, I was a little surprised on that. They had the clock running and De La Rosa ran out of bounds. So, and they're going to reset the clock here. We're doing some clock adjustment, Dan. Can you see it from there?
Pushed it back up. They've added 7 seconds to the clock, pushed it back up to 2 minutes and 40 seconds to play. So we're ready to go once again. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. De La Rosa looking to go up top, over the middle. In and out of the arms of the defender, almost an interception.
Ball could have been caught. Ball could have been intercepted, so we'll settle for an incomplete pass.
Pass is incomplete. Brings up 2nd down.
Receiver unable to get separation from the Sunnyside defensive back, Deshaun Ruffin, doing a terrific job there on the coverage.
The ball looked like it was thrown just a tad, a few inches behind.
2nd out and 10 from the 40. Riders back up to the line of scrimmage. Airing it out. He's got a man deep. Caught at the 20-yard line. Flag flies. We may have more yardage on top of that for pass interference. De La Rosa.
Now we're going to have some talk here about maybe it was offensive interference. I know that's what the Sunnyside coaches up here in the box are yelling for, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Pass interference against Sunnyside.
Coach! Coach!
A big play, a big
Number 5
completion.
on a defense. Penalties
De La Rosa's
declined.
pass was
Result of the play is a 1st down.
Underthrown, and the receiver managed to come back on it and haul it in. Penalty's going to be declined. That'll be 1st and 10 Riders at the 20-yard line with 2:28 to play.
A 40-yard gain. Rough Riders had too many men on the field.
Maxwell up the middle. Legs keep churning, picks up 5 down to the 15-yard line. A lot of confusion there on that play as a player started to come in for the Riders and his teammates waved him off. Had to get their alignment straight in the backfield there.
And even when he went off the field, he wasn't between the 30-yard line, so.
There's that throw as the receiver comes back on the ball. Manages to haul it in. Maxwell up the middle. Looks as though he's brought down to the 12, maybe the 13. A clock running at 1:36 to play.
We're really coming down on it tonight, Dan.
Ball spotted at the 12-yard line. 1:27 and counting here from McLean Stadium. Riders have not scored since their 2nd possession of the night back in the 1st quarter, and they are trying to punch in a touchdown in hopes of equaling the score here tonight. Maxwell again, looking for daylight. Wrestled down at the 9-yard line for a 1st down.
Dan, real quickly, I'm going to have to give a shout out to defensive lineman for Sunnyside, Sylvester Chavarria. I mean, not a real tall lineman, and he is giving it everything he has on every play. A lot of fun to watch.
Riders hustling up to the line of scrimmage.
Less than a minute to go.
1st and goal from the 8. Maxwell once more. Left side, bottled up. Clock is at 50 seconds and counting. Cottonoff Harris brings his quarterback all the way over to the sideline, and I got to tell you, this is a real waste of time doing this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they need to find a quicker way to to bring plays in.
This is almost 10 seconds they've wasted on the clock.
Yeah, we're down to under a half a minute to go in this game. The Rough
27
Riders.
seconds, the clock is running, and the Rough Riders now just trying to get themselves situated. They could have run 3 plays in the time. And De La Rosa looking for a receiver. He's going to, in the grass, spins free. Still churning. He's brought down at about the 1-yard line. 10 seconds left on the clock. And the Riders take a timeout, I believe. Roosevelt takes a timeout. Here's our setting. 10 seconds remain in this game. Roosevelt trails by 8, 20-12. The ball is spotted at the, looks as though it's at the 2 or the 3-yard line.
Okay, on this play, you have 10 seconds left. And they still have Roosevelt with 1 timeout left, maybe because of the injury. So if you have 1 timeout left, I go, I'll try on the ground for 1 play, then call a timeout.
Jordan De La Rosa with an amazing job on that last play, spinning free of a number of potential tackles, bulling his way inside the 5-yard line. And from, it appears the spot is at the 2-yard line. That's where the officials have placed the football. Looks like, it's hard to tell, looks like Sherwin King Jr., number 2, is the injured Wildcat coming off the field with the assistance of the training staff.
Now, I'm guessing that the Rough Riders did use a timeout now because the injured man is now off the field. And Roosevelt's still over there huddled up, so they may have burned their last timeout. It doesn't show on the scoreboard, and we have no way of finding out right now.
Officials coming over to speak to the Sunnyside coaching staff, and I'm not sure if that's the clarification, and they're giving one of the assistants the opportunity to come out and talk to the defense on the field.
Now that's assistant head coach Tom Wilson out there.
Well, Sherwin King Jr. hustles back out onto the field for the defense. It looks as though Carl Hawkins will be the player coming off. This is your ball game. 10 seconds left, 3rd and goal for Roosevelt.
Again, this game's all we could have hoped for tonight.
Oh, this has been a terrific night. Great night of high school football here. The opener of North Yosemite League play. Once again, officials trying to get their signals crossed. Officials up at the line of scrimmage talking to one another. Now we've got the referee coming over to talk to Gordon Wood in front of the Sunnyside bench.
Coach Wood just kind of turns his head in some type of frustration.
Well, I think the situation was that Sherwin King Jr. came off injured. He has to stay out for a play. He's not able to go back on.
Unless they burn a timeout.
Ball at the 2-yard line. Riders. De La Rosa, low snap. Big rush. He gets a great block. Throw is short and incomplete.
Well, 4th down.
4 seconds left on the clock. They have one last play.
Well, unless there's a defensive penalty, Dan, I think we can say that this is going to be the last play of regulation.
On comes De La Rosa with the play. 4th down and goal from the 2-yard line for the Rough Riders. This is your game. All around the stadium, fans are on their feet. Final play of the game. De La Rosa, Maxwell up the middle. stopped at the goal line.
Touchdown.
No, touchdown Roosevelt. The official running in from the side, signaling touchdown. Howard Maxwell, the third, scores.
Now we're a 2-point conversion away from overtime.
Riders celebrating on the far sideline. And Jordan De La Rosa over to talk to his coaches to get the play call for the conversion. Take another look at the replay coming up here. Up the gut, Maxwell punched it across with help from some teammates. The lean with the football, that's what did it. He reached out with the football, got it over the plane, and got the touchdown call. So it's 20-18. Riders down by 2. They need to convert to tie this game. There is no time left on the clock. De La Rosa with Maxwell in the backfield. Officials once again whistling timeout. Sunnyside wants to talk it over. Fred, you talked about the weather making this a great night for football. The action on the field has made this a tremendous night for football.
And Dan, this is one of the best games we've had in the last several years. Coming down to no time left on the clock. Overtime is pending.
Take one more look at that touchdown call. You'll see Maxwell reach out right there.
Right there.
Reached out, thrust the ball across the goal line, and got the touchdown call.
Boy, he thought about that right at the end. He was almost to make contact with the ground. In the NFL, Dan, they would have been looking at this for 10 minutes.
Riders huddle up around their coaching staff, getting this play call, all-important play call. This is your game. (20-18). Sunnyside leading. Roosevelt going for the 2-point conversion, trying to tie it up here. No time left in this game. De La Rosa brings the Riders out of that sideline huddle and up to the line of scrimmage. Otnoff Harris waving his arms over on the far sideline. De La Rosa. They've got it flushed. He throws. In and out of the fingertips of his receiver. And Sunnyside hangs on to win this game 20-18.
What an amazing ending that was, Dan.
De La Rosa, reverse direction. He had a fierce rush. He managed to evade it. Had a man open and just threw it over his fingertips. And Sunnyside High School hangs on to win this by a final score of 20-18. The two teams lining up for the traditional handshake there at midfield. What a game we saw tonight. I think it's safe to say that Otnoff Harris has got Roosevelt in a strong rebuilding mode, and they're heading in a good direction. As we'll look at that one last time, De La Rosa to the near side. You see he's got his receiver wide open and just overthrows him by an inch.
Wow. Just see.
You wanted excitement, you wanted drama in high school football, you got it aplenty tonight here at McLean Stadium, where Sunnyside High has managed to hold on and pull out a 20-18 victory over Roosevelt in the opener of North Yosemite League play, Fred.
And Dan, that game gave everybody what they wanted. You see Otnoff Harris here in the background. He's bitterly disappointed, but as far as he's taken this team in the short amount of time he's had, I mean, they had it right there, a position to go into overtime and maybe get away, win this game and win the NYL. And just Sunnyside, I got to be realistic. Nobody has got the talent to beat them in the NYL except the Roosevelt Rough Riders. Unless something really bizarre happens, I don't see it happening. But what a game, what an ending. And I feel sorry for the young man who had his hands on the ball, couldn't bring it in, and it's tough for a young man at this age to put things in perspective like that. But for us, for the people watching out there, what a football game this was tonight.
Well, we saw some tremendous individual performances. Howard Maxwell III, the running back for Roosevelt, outstanding tonight. Tremendous job. We saw Carl Hawkins. Boy, was he tremendous in the second half for Sunnyside High. The Sunnyside defense, the Sunnyside offensive line, the guys in the trenches rarely get accolades, but they deserve every bit of them tonight.
Oh, yeah, and you had so many momentum swings. Roosevelt jumps out to the 12-0 lead. Sunnyside gets the lead at the half, and then it looks like they salt the game away. Extra point goes awry, and Roosevelt, with their last gasp at the ball, they go 90 yards to tie the game up on the last play of the game. How often does this happen?
Well, the victories certainly leave everybody leaving the stadium in a good mood, but I've got to think the penalties are things that Gordon Wood is going to address early next week when Sunnyside gathers for practice.
Yeah, when you look at the yardage that they gave up on penalties, it's like, oh my goodness, it just makes coaches' stomachs churn, and that's going to be bothering them all week. And he's not going to feel any better when he looks at the film until they get on the football field again and get this corrected.
Well, let's go to the replay machine, take a look at some of the highlights tonight. We had some tremendous action, and Sunnyside, looking at Donovan Kong, their quarterback, and this was a key play, a key third down play, and the out pass was stuffed quickly. Devon Jones, 29 yards out, a burst got him right through the line to the second tier, and he managed to take it all the way to the house. And Maxwell was huge tonight for Roosevelt. Tremendous job by this young man. Came in on the season with about 280 yards rushing, and I think he picked up well over 100 tonight as he was outstanding for the Roosevelt High Rough Riders. This is your final, well, this was the key play that was cut back for, got down to the goal line, and then Maxwell diving over for Roosevelt's second touchdown of the game, put him up 12-0 at that point. And then this was the great kick return, and he had a lot of room ahead of him, and the football just came loose. Big break. But to be honest, the Riders had trouble converting after that and taking advantage.
Yeah, that looked like they score on that play, and they could have really put Sunnyside in the hole, and they didn't take advantage of a couple opportunities. And Roosevelt was really hurt by their very poor special teams plan. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but when they punted, I don't think they had a net of 20 yards on their punts all night tonight.
Sunnyside very balanced. The second half, they were up in the air a lot more, although Carl Hawkins got the ground game going in the third quarter very, very effectively. One of the things that was kind of surprising, in a good way for Roosevelt. Roosevelt, obviously, their special teams, you mentioned it. That was the touchdown that really got Sunnyside coming back, the blocked punt. And they were able to just take it right in from 4 yards out and score. But the running effort there of Howard Maxwell III, he did a tremendous job. They have succeeded through the air most of the season, but tonight it was that ground game that we haven't seen a lot of out of Roosevelt tonight, and it was outstanding.
No doubt it was. And you know, one of the things where Sunnyside, when they were able to control the second quarter, the third, and most of the fourth, their offensive line just wore Roosevelt down. And Roosevelt, to their credit, when it was absolute crunch time, they were able to reach down deep and, you know, pull out that one last drive that kept us on the edge of our seats.
Sunnyside going to 1-0 in league play. Roosevelt falling to 0-1 to get the NYL started. Both teams now on the season 3-3. After a thriller tonight at McLean Stadium, Sunnyside High hanging on in the final seconds to win it. The Wildcats 20, the Roosevelt Rough Riders 18. For everyone at CMAC Sports, I'm Dan Taylor. For the coach, Fred Clark, thanks for being with us tonight. See you again next Friday night for more high school football here on CMAC Sports.